afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Topic Time after a week hiatus, which I want to apologize for, but I have absolutely no one to blame but Mr. Weather himself. And today, we're starting fresh. This is 2011, my first guest of 2011. I'm going to tell you a little about her. Her name is Donna Erickson. She is a publisher, an editor, and a writer, all three in one. And she's helped me with my writing career a little bit, but she's helped a lot of other people with theirs. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that write and want to be writers and have maybe had trouble finding publishers. But for people that want to self-publish and people that want to, make sure that iron out all the nooks and crannies of the fallacy that self-publishing is a ripoff, this is the person you have to see.
I am Donna Erickson, and I'm very glad to be here.
Okay, now, this is a two-way talk show. Topic Time obviously is, and I want anyone to call in with any questions they have for Donna about publishing industry, about their own possible writing careers. Here's the number, 781-837-4384. Now, Donna, I want you to tell us a little bit about how you got into this industry, and talk a little bit about your little publishing handbook.
Okay. Well, I began back in the 1980s as a feature writer. That's how it all started. And after a few years of doing that for local publications, including the Mariner, I began my own writing and editing service, which was more offering full services for people that needed writing assistance with resumes, advertising. Back then we didn't have the internet, and everything changed dramatically when that came to be. So the writing and editing service I still run it as a flairforwriting.com. It's totally virtual. We work globally, and in about 2007, I was hired by an entertainer to edit her book, and then I soon discovered I loved editing books. I began editing more books and working for another publishing company as senior editor and co-partner, which enabled me to learn all of the administrative end of the business.
I have a question. Who was the entertainer? And should we know
her name
who she
is well, you may not know her by name, but for some people that are in our age group, they may know Martha Reeves in the Vandellas.
Oh, yes. I know that.
She was
I know that lady.
A member of Martha Reeves Vandellas and also the world-famous Platters. Her name is Jason McMillan. She lives in North Carolina, and she owns a production company. She wears many hats. She's a playwright, owns a production company. She does voiceovers. In fact, it's funny. When I was editing her book, I live around the corner from a Walmart. I'd be in Walmart shopping, and I'd hear Jason's voice overhead.
Over the loudspeaker.
In the dressing room doing the Hanes for Women commercial. Then I'd come back home, talk to her, say, you sounded really good today. She'd say, oh, I didn't even hear that one. Well, thank you. So she's a very talented lady. We developed a friendship, and that was the first published book that I edited. Then I...
Well, okay, just hold up a second, please.
Yep.
What kind of a book was it that she wrote?
It's called... right there, Behind Closed Doors. It's based on her life and her experience with domestic violence. It's amazing she's even alive. I mean, this woman went through a nightmare story. She had a gun to her head and everything. So she needed to tell her story that she's not a victim, that she's a survivor. And that's basically what it's about.
Okay, well, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it later, but please go on about the publishing industry, how you're affected by it and you affect it.
Okay, well, I started talking to a lot of authors, and I started hearing how they're mainly the theme that was coming through is that they're so dissatisfied with the services that are out there for authors that wanted to self-publish with these bigger names that they'd be Googling and come up with the ones that are right on the top of the list, and they would think, well, that's who they're supposed to be publishing with. And then they all seemed, many of them had bad experiences. So
By bad experiences, do you mean like being overcharged, feeling not that they didn't get the product they were looking for?
Even worse, yeah.
Okay,
just really being ripped off. So there were, I discovered these actual court cases where they were sued, brought to court, and found liable for thousands and thousands of dollars and having to pay in punitive damages to these individuals. So I knew I could do better, and that's what led me here. I'm really on a mission to help new authors avoid getting scammed in this industry because it's so easy to fall into one of these traps. And now we're at the point where we have authors coming to us from these big name publishers saying, oh, I wish I had known about you before I got involved with them. They do a lot of things that we do differently. They outsource to the Philippines and India. The customer service is lacking because of that fact. They're not knowledgeable. People can't understand them. And they don't deliver on what was promised a lot of times.
Not to mention the fact that they charge astronomical amounts of money that you have to pay up front before you even see the finished product.
Yeah, the inflated prices are another negative.
It's true. I know at the risk of possibly facing our own kind of lawsuit, we really don't want to name names because you never know who could be watching out there, representatives from some of these companies. I actually, speaking for myself, who am also a self-published author, I can say firsthand that I've been sent contracts with very high-looking rates on them, and after being told that all the marketing and all the procedures that go with good publishing and distribution of books would be handled for me. However, to see that kind of a figure that I have to sign off on before I even find out who they're going to be talking to get my book circulated is not something that I think I would want to do or anyone else. So, Donna, tell us, you want to elaborate a little bit more about what the best way to go is in terms of looking for a good publisher?
Right. Well, all of this led me to write my book. It's a short booklet. It just gets to the point. It really tells the new author basically everything they need to know to make the decision of what is the best route for them, whether it's traditional publishing, self-publishing. A lot of people claim that self-publishing is actually an oxymoron, to say a self-publishing company, because true self-publishing means you're doing everything on your own. But most individuals today that are writing also have a day job, and they don't have the time, the effort, or even the inclination to do everything themselves. I mean, it's a lot to take on, and you're going to need help from individuals such as designers, illustrators, printers, distribution, editors, proofreaders. So not too many people are able to take that on by themselves, so we offer basically a service that provides all of the required services for self-publishing authors at an affordable rate. But my book, No Hassle Publishing, An Author's Guide to Today's Changing Industry, is written as a resource for new aspiring authors to help them make the important, challenging decisions that they're going to be faced with in the very beginning.